The Volkswagen ID Buzz. This is a new concept for a pure electric vehicle, a van, which is about 5 meters long or 16'3", and that is being shown here in Detroit at the Motor Show. And we will tell you everything about it on Autogefühl, your number one resource for in-depth car reviews and your number one community to discuss cars with Thomas. We're going to take a detailed look on the design, front, side and the rear. We'll check out what's to await in the interior and all of the functionality and the range. And this is actually not too far from a real car. We will tell you more about it. What about it actually? How far is it from the future, which is real at the moment right now? I can tell you there are a lot of interesting aspects about this very iconic car, which is reminding us of the T1, the first VW Bus, as we say in Germany, and that comes to the name of the concept car, Buzz. Let's go with the details. In the front, the very special thing is that it really looks like the T1, the very first generation of the Volkswagen Transporter. And second thing is that this new design language, also from the Volkswagen ID, the compact van that we shown you earlier, this one also resembles here with this LED light signature and also the lower part, as there's no open front grille because there's no combustion engine, obviously, but you have, let's say, a fake front grille, also with light signatures. So that's a key design element. And also the two color scheme, which was also present with the very first vehicle. And this really cites the past. In the side profile, as I said, just below 5 meters or 16'2", 16'3" is the length of that vehicle, and quite similar to the normal T6, for example, and that will leave a lot of space on the inside. But the electric vehicle concept is that the way that the batteries are really placed alongside here, and therefore this vehicle concept is especially suitable for an electric car. And you can place so many batteries in the underfloor there that this can have a maximum range up to 600 kilometers in the European cycle or 260, 270 miles in the US cycle for the electric vehicle range. And will have massive power, so about 5 seconds of acceleration only for 0 to 100 or 0 to 62 miles an hour, and also 370 horsepower if you calculate the system power with all-wheel drive. Also interesting, you cannot see it right here, but under the front axle, this concept here, or that's the thought behind it, will have an inductive charging possibility. That means you can, for example, use a parking spot where there's an inductive charging possibility in the ground, and then you can charge wirelessly. Design-wise, you can see there's this horizontal line which goes all the through and even more separates the two-color scheme. Also, the side mirrors disappeared and are used by cameras that then display an image inside of the vehicle. And the rear looks very modern, also with those very slim and horizontally stressed taillights. This is really different from the original Buzz, and it's really funny that the Volkswagen ID Buzz, B-U-Z-Z, sounds like Bus, B-U-S in Germany, which you also call this Bus, the small bus or microbus. The Volkswagen logo is really huge and also illuminated. I think it's again a nice way to play with light. And well, what is the final name? It's of course not decided yet, but I'm quite sure that this vehicle will also become reality, and maybe something even more. You have realized those sensors here, also in the front, here and here. Those are those 360 sensors for the autonomous drive, because this vehicle is also meant to be an autonomous vehicle. And Volkswagen says in 2025, this one here can go fully autonomous up to a speed of 130 kilometers an hour. And we'll have to really see if that will work. We have heard that the Volkswagen ID, the compact van, should be in 2020 ready. And when this one will be driving 2025 in an autonomous way, I think the real release date will be between 2020 and 2025. But we can also find out more about that in our different interviews we will have here with the executive members. We are not allowed yet to look in the inside as in stepping in the inside, but we can also really look from the outside to the inside before we come to our interview part. And here we can see, first of all, sustainable materials are used, for example, wood, that also in the current T6 or Volkswagen Crafter that comes from certified wood sources, for example, also inside from Europe. Then fabric seats, and obviously taken our concerns seriously, because in an electric vehicle you have to use fabric seats or leatherette seats to make it an all-sustainable concept. You can equip this car with 8 seats, but it's also possibly like this, for example, with a lot of space on the inside. You have a flexible setup, also rails on the ground that you can slide the seats or fold them flat. So that leaves a lot of space, LED lights on the top to have this lounge look, so it will look amazing at night as well. There we go. And also in the front cockpit, what can we see here? This dancing figure in the front, really nice detail. But also horizontal stress, not many buttons. Everything will be either controlled with this iPad there in the middle part. The steering wheel will slide out if you drive the car yourself, or slide in if you are in the autonomous mode. And everything else will also be controlled, for example, by augmented reality. So you will have a head-up display, but then, for example, see the arrows of the GPS in front of the road. So there's an optical or visual illusion then. This will be a very interesting concept. And so also eye tracking modes can be used, and a lot of stuff is then reduced again. So you have more features, but then reduced in the command that you can also use, for example, the voice command, and that it doesn't get too complicated. However, if that's in autonomous mode, you will have plenty of time to revive all of this infotainment. Now we're joined by Jürgen Stackmann, Head of Marketing and Sales for Volkswagen, and we know that Volkswagen, especially in the USA, has a problem with sales at the moment. So can this concept also, looking into the future, solve this problem again?
Well, it's not only this concept that will solve not the issue, but actually will help us to rebuild Volkswagen to the strength that we want Volkswagen to have in this country. The year 2017 is a magic year for the Volkswagen brand. We're coming through a difficult period that you have mentioned, but we have a clear mind ahead. We are launching 2 significant cars for the country that are real American cars. The long Tiguan, which basically is a compact SUV, as Americans call it, and the Atlas, which is a fantastic car for the American family and household, which will make the brand really relevant for the American families. The ID Buzz that we've brought to Detroit is probably the most American concept you can imagine on an electric platform. It combines what America actually has decided to be the love affair with the Volkswagen brand, the microbus. It's the shape that actually has defined the brand in this country, with the most advanced and most sustainable energy solution that we can offer. It's fully electric. It will never have a combustion engine. It's fully connected. It's ready for autonomous drive. It looks fantastic, and it actually offers space for 8 people in a tremendous way. And we believe that the combination of a very powerful emotional design combined with a fantastic usability and sustainability is a concept that actually will reconnect America to Volkswagen.
So at the moment, the current vehicle, the T6, is not available in the US and it's very popular in Europe. Could this then be a world Volkswagen Transporter, but a world car that is similar for all of the markets?
This actually is not yet fully decided. What we're showing here is the second sort of version of our modular electric platform, sort of a new platform that we've just started to design and develop last year. The first car that we showed was our ID in Paris, a European concept, compact in size, Golf shape and Golf size with the inside of a Passat. This obviously will probably suit 2 or 3 Passats on the inside. So it's a car that actually is made for a country that loves big cars, loves big concepts, high seating position, command seating position, but actually loves to get engaged emotionally with the brand it's driving. So this is the car that actually is meant to be a success in America, but I'm really convinced, and we are convinced, that the idea of an ID Buzz could be a global concept, and we'll see actually sort of after Detroit Motor Show how the reaction globally on this concept really is.
So Larsen, as we are watching the small Volkswagen ID, the compact van, it's called that way, you told me it's not that far from reality, actually. And what about this one? How far is it from real? Of course, not every feature will come into a serial model, but how far is it from the real model?
It is real, and so far actually we have used the same electrical platform. So basically it's feasible to do the car Whether actually the car can come to life actually will be decided essentially by our customers. So we're really eagerly to get sort of comments from our customer base. Would they like us to really proceed with that car? It's actually not a car that actually will be the first one on the electric platform, but it's an idea that we can bring to the market. And obviously we have committed ourselves to bring a whole range and family of cars on an electric platform. This is one idea, very American, but I think everybody who looks at the car just wants to drive it. So it could be a global idea. Let's see actually what the reaction says after the show.
So 2020 will be for the compact Volkswagen ID. Is there any roadmap? What's ahead then, for example, for this one? Maybe a year later, just approximately.
Well, obviously we do have a roadmap, but we don't want to talk about that. We will not talk about this. We have committed ourselves to launch a family of cars, not only one car. This could be an example of that. It's basically showing the spread and the spectrum that we could offer. Actually, the customer will decide whether this is going to be one car of the family or not. I personally think it has to be one.
So you heard it, man. It's your choice. So show us already in the comments what do you think. Then we'll also give the feedback back, and then maybe Jürgen Stackmann decides when he will launch this car for real. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
With Klaus Bischoff, head of design Volkswagen, we have recently spoke about the design evolution in the Volkswagen brand, and this here seems to be the very next step, but again citing the past. How did you come up with the idea that this one here really looks very familiar?
Yeah, of course, it is relatively close at hand. If you consider to come up with a new product that features room for 8 and all that on a very small footprint with a high seating position, to capitalize on the famous T1 bus that of course is an Volkswagen icon. And we took elements like the facial expression, this famous V shape and the color separation, and redefined this into a very futuristic car that features a big range, and you can house, as I said, 8 persons. And travel in style and have fun. For us, an offer that is natural for a brand like Volkswagen.
Quite often you say that electric cars are, not that beautiful, maybe more have, also different proportion of functionality and design. Is this one here a concept that can really also stress the emotional part of an electric vehicle?
Yeah, I absolutely do think so, due to the fact that you see here's something that stands out, is very characterful, very nice and proportioned. Will enlight the roads. Everybody will take a smile when the car is passing by. And that is something that redefines also mobility in a very sympathetic way.
So what's your design roadmap? We see some of the key elements. For example, the headlights are also similar to the Volkswagen ID concept, the compact van, let's take it that way. So there are also some things that could be becoming maybe the core VW design elements.
Yeah, absolutely. We do transport these unique features that we showed the first time with the ID, also in the ID Buzz, and you might see this also on other family members, because there's a lot to come.
What is your favorite part here, design-wise, from this very car?
I'm in love with the whole thing. It's hard to tell any details. But for me, this is a very modern, futuristic, typical Volkswagen with a genetic code from the past that leads into the future.
So would this also be your personal pick, maybe, for your leisure car in the future?
Absolutely. I would dream to drive with a serious production car every day.
So I think this is a good hint that this car will probably become reality, that Klaus Bischoff himself can drive the car, at least. And then maybe some more people, of course, like you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And especially in the spotlight here in Detroit is also Hinrich Wöpken, because he is the head of Volkswagen America. And maybe you can tell us, is this the fairy tale that can free Volkswagen again from the chains of the past?
Yeah, I think we are all excited. The Buzz has been the icon of the brand back to the 50s and especially 60s and 70s. The Buzz is, so to speak, the other end of the ID family, which we started to launch at the Paris Motor Show back in September. So the ID was the smallest, and on the other end of the family, so to speak, is the Buzz. We believe that it's a concept car, and of course we're using the exhibition to test the taste, what the audience is saying, what the journalists, what the customers, dealers are saying. But the fascinating element about this product is that we are able, demonstrating this, to combine emotion with functionality. It has, that sometimes is in contradiction, as you know. And if you look really deep into this product, it's fantastic how emotional this product is, and at the same time delivers a lot of customer value.
So the car goes almost in 5 seconds from 0 to 100 or kilometers or 0 to 62 miles an hour. Is that maybe a sales factor as a sports car?
Yeah, we didn't disclose the data yet. In general, electric mobility is high torque, is fun to drive. And therefore also such a large car will have, with electric mobility, with electric drives, of course also a lot of fun to drive, especially paired with great stabilization and suspension systems. For the driving dynamics, Volkswagen, I believe, has a very strong position traditionally anyhow.
So we have did several reviews also on the current T6, for example, which is hosted by Volkswagen Commercial Vehicles, and the American customers always tell us, why can't we get that one here? We loved it in the past and we cannot get it at the moment. Is this, did you listen to the customers? Is this the reaction that this one then will again be a global bus?
That's why we are here. We are trying to find out exactly what you just asked. Is it a global product? Is it more regional product? It depends very much how much the functionality and the customer advantages are valued. To bring a new product into the market has very much to do with volume and scales and competitiveness. And in order to find that out, how ambitious are we on such a product, we are showing it to you and to the audience to find out whether we would bring this to a positive business case.
So as a last question, I'm playing the American customer now, and you say, I love big SUVs. Why should I switch from a really heavy, rugged SUV to this one?
Great question. I can tell you, especially the command seat position, the room space functionality. These are elements which are highly regarded with SUV architectures. If you look at that car, there are some elements in there which is even more. So now the question is whether this more is appreciated by the customers, and we're trying to find this out during this week.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
And now our first conclusion. The interior part will come later. We will link it in the video description because we can visit the interior at a later stage, and so you should also check that on as soon as it's online. But what we have seen so far, I think it's really a great quotation of the past, combining the emotional appeal of the very first transporter then with a new concept. And if a vehicle is suitable to be a fully electric vehicle, it is surely this one, if you consider the space you have on the inside and also looking at the design on the outside. So this one here can combine the emotional appeal of a very iconic car with a modern vehicle. And I think it's very promising also what we've seen from the outside to the inside, because you have a lot of flexibility inside. And of course I would be looking forward to your feedback, what you think so far.